This interview is so bad that they didn't even publish the full video. Luckily, there's clips, or I should say unluckily, because once you see these, you will not feel very safe with this man as your leader. Now, do you remember when Biden called Zelensky President Putin? Well, somehow Biden was able to top that.
It's all about treating people with dignity. And it's about making sure that, look, I mean, for example, look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense, the black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I've named.
The guy couldn't remember the name of his own Secretary of Defense and referred to him as the black man. I mean, what is the point of the 25th Amendment if we don't use it right now?
I think that, and one thing does change, it's not an excuse, an explanation. I would ordinarily be going through black neighborhoods on the foot, working through the neighborhoods. I have a tradition. I close every campaign, no matter what campaign, going into the projects and going down the east side. And, hey, Joe, well, how you doing? You know, everybody, well, just because they're my friends, let them know I'm still there. We can't do that now. Not because of the black community, because it's too dangerous for me to be out walking unaccompanied.
Literally last month, you said that violent crime was dropping at record levels. But now you're using crime as an excuse for not taking one less nap so you can actually go campaign. I know you're going to want to look away now because it just gets worse. You know how Biden will do that thing where he reads about something that someone else did and then just claims it for his own story? Well, this is probably the worst case of that.
The neighboring neighborhood called Linfield. You were 14 or 15 years old. I told you not to go down there because there were people protesting. But you went down and you got arrested for being on the porch with a black family. And they brought you back home. I said, yeah, I remember that, Mom, she said.
Even the best fact checkers in the world couldn't find a semblance of truth to that story. And it's honestly getting bad enough that you're seeing leaks like this come out. Even Kamala is watching this and is like, all right, just put me in, coach. I'm ready.
I'd like you to take a moment and tell Black America what you want them to know. Why should they turn out for you?
Because they know where my heart is. They know where my head is. And by the way, if you notice, whether it's young blacks or young whites or Hispanics or young Asian Americans, they've never focused until after Labor Day. I mean, the idea they're focused intently on an election right now is not there.
Biden, you can't just insult your voters into voting for you. I'm a young person and I can tell you that my eyes are wide open. They've been open since before you got elected when you said that we can only re-elect Donald Trump. I watched that and then saw how the crowd laughed and thought, well, that was weird.
Turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get re-elected. We cannot win this re-election. We can only re-elect Donald Trump.
Biden and inflation are one of the iconic duos of our time, like Mario and Luigi or Biden and falling down. Remember when Biden said inflation is down just an inch? Well, I still don't know what inflation being down an inch even means, but this clip somehow tops that.
What do you tell people who are paying $6 for cereal? They can't take their kids to a movie or a ball game, memories that last with you. What do you tell them?
Well, I tell them what's happening is inflation is coming down. It is coming down. You have 16 Nobel laureates in economics saying that it's coming down. I think you're going to see, I have not spoken to the Fed. My guess is they're going to reduce rates.
You say you haven't spoken to the Fed, as if it's tough to get in touch with the guy. You don't have to remember his phone number anymore. Those times are over. You just give him a call tonight. You might learn something about the country that you're supposedly running.
But I understand what people say. Look, I'm only 3 years older than Trump, okay? And I think I'm in a little better physical shape than he is. The point is, though, that it's not unreasonable for people to say, wait a minute, they're 81 years old. And so I think it's a legitimate thing from the raise. And as long as I can demonstrate that it's not affecting my ability to compete, my ability to get things done, my ability to literally lead the world. And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Joe, on behalf of the voters, I can tell you with 100% certainty that your cognitive decline has affected the way that you're able to compete. We want a president that we'd be confident could solve 12 times 11 as much as we want one that can go up the stairs without falling. Just think, really think, can you imagine Biden doing your job? I'm sorry I made you imagine that, but hey, at least you feel better about your ability to do your job. You're sharper than the president. Biden here went for 3 lies in 48 seconds, which, and I checked this, is in fact his record.
Explain to people why this election is different.
Well, look, one of the things that occurred when I won, you may remember, I said I was running for 3 reasons. It was after my son was killed, or died because of Iraq, and I didn't want to get involved. And then I was watching television, and I was a professor at Penn, watching television later. And you saw those folks come out of the fields in Charlottesville carrying torches, accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan, carrying Nazi swastikas. And a young woman, a bystander, was killed. And he was asked, well, tell me about what happened here, Mr. President. There were good people on both sides. That's when I decided I had to run. That's why I ran.
Next up, you're going to hear the only case in which Biden would quit, which is a different answer than he gave a couple weeks ago, saying, quote, I mean, if the Lord Almighty comes out and tells me that, I might do that. You know you're Joe Biden when you have an article titled, What Would Make Joe Biden Drop Out of the Presidential Race? Here are the 4 reasons he cited.
Is there anything that you would look to, you personally, not anybody else, not other pundits, not even perhaps family members, that you would look to say, if I see that, I will reevaluate?
If there had some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem.
About 1 hour after these clips surfaced, it was announced that Biden got COVID, despite saying at the debate that if you get the shot, you don't get COVID. He just happened to get the virus right after he announced that if he got a medical condition that he'd drop out. Now, this is him going up to his plane, and I'm not joking, my baby nephew, who is 1 year old, could actually beat this guy up the stairs. I think it would be close, but I bet on my nephew. I bet Van Jones over at CNN would too, because there's definitely a dictionary somewhere of Van's face under the word Democrat. So watching this clip does not feel like real life.
A bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You've got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together.
Also, Biden's not wearing a mask despite testing positive, and this clip of him getting into a car is not slowed down. He's in excellent physical shape, though, better than Trump. MSNBC says fighting a virus is the same thing as getting shot at, so Trump and Biden are just as strong. Yes, unfortunately, that is a real clip. Here you go.
Here's the question that I have on that. These 2 men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age.
If you guys like the video, here is a video of Biden forgetting the organization in which he is speaking at. I'll see you there.